Hey, what's up? John Hardison from Studio 113 at East Hall High School in Gainesville, Georgia. So here was our lesson plan. We wanted our American literature students to study Walt Whitman and Emily Dickinson, and we wanted to look at several standards from this list of standards here, mainly RL1 through RL7 with American literature. And the students I should say, were divided into teams of 3 to 5, and they were asked to break down their assigned poems from either Walt Whitman or Emily Dickinson. And we first used this TP Fast analysis of poetry format, and I'm scrolling through here. We used this TP Fast to kind of get us going to dive into the poem. Yes, it took a couple of class periods for us to fully analyze that poem, and then after that, the students already knew where they were headed. We told them that ultimately they were going to present knowledge of their assigned poems, with every team having something different. They were going to present their knowledge via Jimmy Fallon's Slow Jam the News. So we took the video from Jimmy Fallon's Tonight Show, where it has President Obama as number 1, Jimmy Fallon as number 2, and the musical group The Roots as number 3. And I'll show you here that we kind of broke it down. The students obviously could click right here and go see the version of Tonight Show's Slow Jam the News. We wanted to slow jam the poem. So here is the structure each round, and we gave this to the students and set them up and thoroughly discussed where they were headed. Then, after they had TP fasted the poem, we gave them access to this Google slide document, and again you'll see the same structure, just reminding them what order we go in, and then we gave them cue cards. Now these cue cards would be used as they're up on stage. And yes, it is an actual stage. They'll be up on stage either as number 1, 2, or 3, and they'll be in front of a camera and a boom mic, and they will be looking at their cue cards as they either slow jam the poem or blank blank the poem. We had many different varieties that were presented, and if you'll watch the following videos or the accompanying videos, you will definitely see some examples. Okay. And one last thing, I was about to finish, but one last thing right here. We did have the students go through and give feedback via their smartphones or laptops as they just finished watching the presentations. And you can see it's very simple, but I do use the TP Fast. I have them select one of these that they want to comment on after seeing the presentation, and then they give some feedback here. I hope this has been helpful. Please watch the other videos that thoroughly explain the physical setup, and please take a look at some of the amazing videos from Studio 113 students. Thank you so much. See ya. Hey, what's up, y'all? John Hardison from Studio 113 at East Hall High School in Gainesville, Georgia. Hey, if you've been looking at Jimmy Fallon's Slow Jam the News, then you know about what we've tried to do here in Studio 113. We have done Slow Jam the Poem. And so I want to talk briefly about how we set this up, and there is a lot to this. So if you'll just kind of follow me as I go around with the swivel and a camera. First thing you'll notice that I have some microphones set up here. Now, these microphones are actually just props, but I have stationed them to where this is number 1, this is number 2, and right here, this right here is number 3. Now, if you saw the one with President Obama, Jimmy Fallon, and the Roots, then you know, of course, that President Obama was right here on number 1, Jimmy Fallon was right here on number 2, and the Roots and the musical section was right there on number 3. Now, what we've done here is we've been fortunate to have a little bit of technology in here that would help us out. This obviously is to illuminate the faces as they look towards the screen. And if you'll kind of follow me right here, I'm going to set up exactly how they would be seeing this. So these are the cue cards I provided the students via Google Drive, and as you can see, they would go through these cue cards. You see number 1 in the middle, number 2, and the number 3. This would have been President Obama, Jimmy Fallon, and then the musical group The Roots. Now, there are 3 rounds to this slow jam the poem, and as you can see up here, we have round 2, I put it in yellow, kind of slowing down, and then red right here for round 3. Everybody could share this, and they could collaborate and type in Google Drive and be much more efficient. But when we get ready to actually record, what you'll see is this. You'll see me right here. I'll make sure I'm out of the way. And we're using a slider that was provided to us. A slider that was provided to us by Andrew Arrowwood, one of our brilliant students at East Hall High School, Studio 113. He built this. And if you have again seen the Slow Jam the News, you realize that number 2, Jimmy Fallon, is out of the frame periodically as they zoom in and they zoom out, or pan in and pan out. So what I have done here, thanks to Andrew Arrowwood, is I simply go back and forth with the camera on this slider. Now again, I'll be seated right here. I'll just be reaching over. We just filmed 10 or more of these and had no problem with 1, 2, or 3 actually viewing the cue cards. I simply move back and forth very, very smoothly, and that's all I need. You can see we've got this slider placed at an angle, and that is all we need to make this very smooth. We got somebody over here called a pusher, is pushing the slides through. They will advance the cue cards. They will also hook up, if needed, to my auxiliary cable, which runs to my corner speakers. They can use their smartphone and play some background music. And of course, if needed, they can come to my teacher's rolling cart. There is no desk in here. And go with screen 1, 2, or 3 as I am in extend mode. Now, one other thing I want to show you is you could use a lapel mic, something like this that I'm using right now. You could hang it from the ceiling. That's my backup plan. But a student who is big into movie making brought a boom mic. So you can see this boom mic. We would have a student sit right here out of the camera frame and then just point this boom mic to whomever is speaking. Great sound quality the entire time. Now I know what you're thinking. You may be thinking, wow, don't have that technology. Don't have a student who has built some of this or who has this. Well, obviously, we're blessed here in Studio 113 with some brilliant students. However, just get a camera. Just get a camera. Zoom in and out yourself if you have to walk back and forth. The main thing is to do this structure, slow jam the poem, slow jam the news, slow jam the math, slow jam the science, whatever it may be, and give the students time to be creative, and I'm sure they're going to rock it out. Now what I want to do is I want to just kind of give you a feel for how we set this up. So watch me as I go back here. Just follow me, please. I'm going to turn the lights off. All right, and there we are. You'll see I've got some lights set up here and lights set up in the corner right over here. Now, I have had a couple of students who have come in, actually a couple of teams who have come in and they said, hey, we want to green screen this. Got the green screen already set up. That involves a little bit more work, but we quickly put something in behind them for the green screen, maybe a picture or a quick little video, and that's exactly what they wanted, highly creative. Not something you have to do, though. Now, as I walk back around, I want to give you a feel for how this looks to the students. Okay, so with the students, you can imagine 1, 2, and 3 looking at the cue cards right here. Of course, as as I am seated right here, or maybe another student is seated here, operating the slider back and forth. And then let's not forget, you have the person right here on the boom mic. And then finally, you have somebody over here pushing the slides through, maybe kind of working with the audio. Now that is the setup. I know it looks like a lot, but if you wanted to keep it simple, just grab a camera, go with the microphone on that camera, and I promise you the students will rock it out. They just did in here. I am ecstatic about it. Okay, thank you. Hey, John Hardison here again. I wanted to let you know what we do in the classroom with the audience, how we make sure that they're held accountable also. Now, before we do the presentation, the slow jam, the poem on the stage, we first go to the book or maybe on Canvas, the learning management system, Google Drive, wherever I may have a copy of the poem. But let's just say we use the textbooks right here. And I go to Walt Whitman's poem, A Noiseless Patient Spider. I will read that to the entire class, but I want to make sure they're with me. And so I use the traffic light system that we came up with here in Studio 113 to make sure that we're managing when we have our technology and when we're using that. And so at this time, they know that I would go to the yellow light at that time, which means to simply take your laptop, unless you're reading from that, and just kind of close it up. If you are reading from that, that's cool, but any other gadgets, of course, we would turn over at that time or just kind of close down, and I would have everybody read the poem. Now, we had enough books here, so today I actually went with having them read from the book, and we just try to manage the technology back and forth. We read the poem, talk about a few notes, but not too much, because this team should do quite a bit. They should be paraphrasing, they should be putting in a different jargon and style, and they should also be relating to pop culture with maybe a simile, metaphor, music, whatever it may be. At the end of their 3 rounds, we should have more light shed about that poem that we're looking at. Now, as we're viewing the slow jam the poem up here on stage, we stay with the yellow light, at which at that time when we're all done, we make it snapalicious, clap for them, obviously lift them up. I go back to the green light, and then what we do at this time is we go to a Google Drive form, and I don't know if you can see this right now. Matter of fact, I'll enlarge this just a bit. But I want quick feedback, and they can do feedback from their smartphones and or their laptops. But here's a Google form where they insert their first and last name, the period, of course, or class that they have in here, and then I ask them to go through TP Fast, which I'm sure you know is title, paraphrase, figurative language, attitude, shift, title again, and then theme finally. And that's kind of a formula we use to get us started, just get us started with the understanding and analysis of a poem. They will quickly submit this. As they are submitting that, I have a team who does not have to do that feedback already coming on the stage and getting prepared for the next slow jam the poem. This takes about 3 minutes, maybe a little bit more, and then we move on to the next section. The entire time I manage the traffic light system, and then we manage what is done on here on stage, and we're making sure we're not just presenting and showing off, but presenting with a purpose and in essence rocking out the classroom. I hope this helps. See you later.